celebrate life and celebrate the entire life. That is what we are learning together. We have a root question to make the entire life a celebration, or to celebrate the different events. When we celebrate different events, before the before celebration we are preparing, we enjoy in imagination, in a vision, I'm going to celebrate my birthday. We arrange, that gives me little more pleasure. Now we are celebrating, we enjoy it. And what happens after enjoyment? The next day, everything is gone. So that very pleasure is because of the contact of the place, the time, and that is what we say the event. So you celebrate an event to get a pleasure, or you celebrate the entire life so that your life enters into permanent peace and happiness. That is the journey of the Eastern wisdom, whether you say meditation, mantra, and yoga, and whatever you want to say it. So, in the last talk, we understand the major steps of sadhana, major steps of practices, balancing the four stages of life. And what are those four stages of the life? Preparing it, nurturing it, protecting it, and the last one comes meditating to reveal the knowledge of our real self so that the entire life becomes a celebration. In the last talk, we understand that why I feel anxious. If I know this is the reason of my anxiety, anger, and hesitation, I know it clearly in my head, in my mind, in my heart. So, what is going to happen to the anxiety and anger? I always give an example. Can you plan to be angry tomorrow at 10 a.m.? The answer is big no. The moment the 10 a.m. comes, you should look at the agenda, you listen to it, you read it. Anger cannot get. Some people talk to me, I become very angry. So I tell them, become angry now. Not possible. Why not possible? There is no situation. I said, let me give you a situation, create a situation. No, even then I cannot. Why? Because you brought very habit at the unconscious level at the conscious level. That is what we discussed in the last video. We continue understanding the five major steps of the practice. Major steps. Then you have sub steps. So, first is the four stages of the life. What is the four stages of the life? In the early childhood, all of our parents, neighbors, seniors say, educate, learn yourself, gain knowledge. What is that pointer? Is the discipline and education. Discipline and education outside learning a particular skill. And discipline and education of the mind, learning the skills to keep the mind in calm, in peace. Then we enter into the worldly life, whether you say it's a professional life, family life, social life. So I have to ask the mind to remain conscious in living professional, social, and family life. What it means, I bring all the thoughts, feeling, and emotions at the conscious level, so I have an ability to choose and control. I don't leave a scope for my anger, hesitation, over busyness, reaction. These two steps are fundamental, without which the meditation and mindfulness will not succeed. Do whatever you want to do. Let any teacher, modern teacher, say anything. But if that teacher belongs to the Eastern wisdom, who is well versed with the teachings of those great masters, they will teach you the same thing what I'm guiding you. That is the way. You cannot change the manual of an iPhone given to you when you purchase it. You follow the manual, isn't it? Same thing. We have to follow the manual. So the first step is understanding the four stages of the life and balancing it. How to balance? You discover, you explore. I'm seeking pleasure. So when I'm seeking pleasure, so the first stage is the pleasure happiness when I come in contact with the people, with the item, with the object, with the food. But then what happens? Greater than the pleasure is satisfaction. I go to work, I become creative, I learn something new skills, and I'm totally absorbed. That very absorption of the mind gives me satisfaction, which is greater than the pleasure. And what is greater than the satisfaction that we have learned from the society and from the world? Ah, yes, I have the resources, I know the skills. Let me serve five people in my community. That is a value happiness. I give value to what I know. That is greater happiness than the satisfaction and the pleasure. So, all these three stages of the happiness, like pleasure happiness, celebrating an event, birthday, marriage anniversary, inviting people, enjoying myself in the presence of the people, satisfaction happiness, I am totally absorbed, like scientists and researchers, in doing something great. Greater than that, value happiness, service. I offer my services that is not directed to me, but that is directed to the world outside. What happens? It loosens the knot of the ego. It gives you a value happiness. But the greatest happiness is the discovery of the real self. I compare this permanent state of the happiness by giving you a story of Archimedes. The king asked him, find out, this is the crown. Is there any mixture? It's a gold crown. Gold maker told me. Otherwise, you will be put into the prison. He was totally absorbed, and one day he was in the bathtub, the water, full of water. As he put himself into his body into the bathtub, the water overflowed and he cried. He was naked. He cried and started running naked on the streets of Athens. I found it. Eureka. Eureka. Such a small discovery in the material phenomena gives you that immense pleasure. What about if you discover your real nature? What will happen? It is not the immense pleasure, that permanent happiness oozes out of you. That permanent love oozes out of you. Wisdom remains intact. You live into that truth consciousness. That is the result of the meditation. So, what is that? That is our real self. It is Satchidanand. It is absolute existence consciousness bliss. It is my true nature. That is why we say Eastern wisdom is an instrument of knowledge that aims at self discovery, and the result is permanent happiness. To make the entire life celebration.